Hello EVE players! Today I want to tell you about some changes we are planning to make around Plex in EVE Online. Plex, or a pilot's license extension, is an item that you can buy from CCP and then, if you like, trade it on the market with other players. Whoever has the item can use it to pay for 30 days of Omega time, convert it to Aurum that's used in the New Eden store, or use it to get services like multiple character training. We really like Plex because it lets you players in the in-game market decide what trade-offs you want to make between time, ISK, and real money. It also gives us at CCP a type of income that doesn't mess with the integrity of the game design. You can buy whatever you want in EVE Online for ISK, but you have to get it by trading with another player who earned it somehow by playing the game, and who's willing to part with it at a price that they set. This is really EVE to us. So, while we have some changes we want to make to strengthen and simplify Plex, we are making sure to preserve those fundamentals of how Plex works today. Now, we have a few issues with how Plex works today that we want to fix. We want Plex to be easier to find, with more control for you about how you can buy and trade, and overall we want the whole ecosystem around things that you can buy from CCP to be easier to understand. So with those goals in mind, we are planning 3 big changes. First, each Plex item will turn into 500 Plex items. 500 Plex items will be needed to get 30 days of Omega game time, and the same for any other service that today costs 1 Plex. By making Plex more granular like this, we can give people more options because we can sell Plex at smaller price points than now. Plex will also get a special inventory location in EVE called the Plex Vault, where it will go when you buy it from CCP. From there, you can use it with CCP to pay for goods or services, or trade it, or move it elsewhere as you see fit. If you buy Plex off the in-game market, you will need to move it into the Plex Vault to use it for goods or services with CCP. You can still move, contract, blow up, and trade Plex just like any other item in EVE Online. If you keep them in the Plex Vault, they are safe and accessible from any character on the account. Making Plex more granular also lets us use Plex in the New Eden store instead of Aurum. Plex could always be turned into Aurum, but we constantly run into problems with explaining this whole complicated setup to both new and old players. On launch day of these changes, we will convert all Aurum balances above 1000 Aurum to the new Plex. With these changes, we hope to keep all the great things about Plex, but provide Plex in smaller amounts to make it more accessible, make it way easier to find and understand what you can do with Plex, and stop having both Plex and Aurum to explain and for you players to try and figure out. While we're keeping many things just the same as they are today, I'm sure you have a lot of questions, and we also have more details on what's behind us making these changes that you can find in the dev blog that's also published today. The blog has an extensive questions and answers section that we hope covers what you may be wondering about, and we'll keep expanding that section as we get questions we did not foresee. We do not yet have an official release date for these changes. We are now looking for your feedback and will respond to that as part of our normal development process. You should expect to get a new, bigger update at EVE FanFest in early April. Thanks for listening, and please let us know what you think.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Clash podcast, episode 29, Arts and Entertainment.
Arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts? Oh, I like it.
Is that what it is? Arts and crafts? But yeah, it's definitely arts and entertainment. We've got some artists. We have some entertainers here. I guess the only entertainer is myself. I don't know. Maybe it's Merdud.
I'm not entertaining. Don't worry.
Anywho, so yeah, like Merdud said, welcome to episode number 29 of the Mind Clash podcast. I am Kale Decadence. Yeah, super sweet. Thanks for that. That gave us 63 viewers right off the bat. But yeah, with us today we have a few guests. We have Rixx Javix.
Hey.
We have returning guest Reload.
Hello.
And then we've got. Are you going by Justin Cody? Is that how you're doing?
I am. That's the in-game name, and that's actually my real-life name. So feel free to dox me, everybody.
Look at you. And then we also have Corrin Mor.
Hey, how's it going?
And 80 Mickey 6.
Hello, everybody.
And that's it. I think that's it. That's it.
You can't fit any more people in my chat box. That's it.
Literally, that is it. Yeah, so today we've got these wonderful guests on here because they each have their own art form within the EVE Online universe that they want to share with the world, and we're going to give them some time to talk about it. But first, what have we been up to? Let's do some intros. Let's start at the top of the voice chat, which would be Corrin Mor. Go ahead and intro and talk about what you do.
Well, I'm with Signal Cartel in game, and I don't know, I dick around in a wormhole and make very little money. And outside of that, do you want me to talk about what I do outside the game? You know, in terms of my arts and my crafts.
Yeah, just real quick with your arts and crafts.
My arts and my crafts are sort of various kinds of video stuff and the GIFs which I post on Twitter every week.
Nice. And you do the like billboard videos, right?
I've done a couple of them, yeah. The only one I think that's actually up at the moment is the one for Event.
Well, we might have a contract for you to do another one.
Oh, yeah, get in line.
Anyways, next up we got Justin Cody.
Yeah, I've been playing EVE since 2004, so bitter vet, and just kind of same as Corrin, messing around in wormholes with Hard Knocks. And I've been working on just sort of like screenshot art.
Yep, and if you look at the video right now, you can see some of that right there.
Fresh content.
Super fresh content.
Produced a UHD pack for the show, so I hope people like it.
I'll get that link out just momentarily. And next up, Mickey 6.
Oh dear. I'm in game. I have stuffed most of my characters into a vanity corporation, so at least I keep my corporate tax. And goofing off in high sec, lowering property values. Just about a little bit of everything. Industry exploration, planetary interaction, click, 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 click. When it comes to arts and crafts, I make little yarn critters, and I also cross stitch.
Which are awesome, by the way. I have a bunch of them on my shelf right above my head.
Oh man, that's nice. Have you made any like Eve-related little yarn critters?
At this time, no. I have yet to find a pattern for Eve-related stuff, and I'm not quite there in making my own patterns for crochet. I'm new to it.
Well, as soon as you do, I'm definitely going to get something.
How about a Vexor?
Really?
That'd be a good shape to do.
I don't figure making an avatar would be too hard. There's plenty of mushroom patterns. I just got to change the colors.
Ah. Never mind, I'm not even going there. Reload.
Hey there, guys. Thanks so much for having me on your show once again. In-game, I do a lot of exploration, a lot of PvE, as well as I try to host a lot of viewers' fleets, and that brings me to my outside of the game, the arts and crafts. I do a lot of YouTube videos for Alpha Clones, as well as try to host live streams where Alpha Clones can fly with me.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Rixx Javix.
Hey. Let's see. What do I do?
Everything.
I kind of just hang back and take a low road and, just very calm over my corner.
Right,
yeah. Now I run in game. I run an alliance of about 800 idiots of no consequence called a Band Apart, which finished in the top 16 of the last alliance tournament. In a very small pirate corporation called Stay Frosty. which causes a lot of trouble in LoSec. But LoSec is of no importance, so don't be bothered by all these numbers that I'm showing out here. Generally, I've been playing for about 9 years. So I've been writing a blog called Evaganda for 8 years, and I do a lot of artwork for just about everybody in the EVE community. Alliance logos, wallpapers, posters. A few years ago,
podcast logos.
Yep, podcast logos. A few years ago, I did 8 posters with CCP, which were have been sold for the last 2 years, and a couple other projects here and there. So that's me. And then every once in a while, I just poke things with a stick and see what happens. So that's always kind of amusing too. So
yeah, and not to mention, you actually have your own podcast, which is After Hours with Rixx Javix.
I do. I often forget to promote my own stuff. So, but yeah, I have a podcast. I've actually got to record one of those this week too. So, trying to get one more of those in before FanFest. So,
yep, I was actually listening to the one you had with Dunk Dinkle today while I was working in the yard. Good stuff.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good. That one was one of the ones that was really challenging for some reason, and I still can't quite figure out what it is. I've been through the setup 4 times, but I have this weird echo that was happening on that one.
Yeah,
it took a lot of extra editing just to try to tone that down a little bit. But yeah, it didn't turn out quite as good as I had hoped. So my setup is not anywhere near a professional level, but we're trying to improve things around here a little bit at a time. So hopefully it'll get better as time goes on.
Let me tell you what, as someone who edits a podcast every week, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, honestly.
Yeah, not easy at all. Anyways, Mordud, what you been up to, man?
Oh, pretty much the same story as last week. Still fighting this war in Wicked Creek.
Now, is this the war of this from the Army of New Eden, or what is that?
They haven't showed up yet. Maybe they're still deploying. I don't know. Maybe there's an army joke there, but no, we're still fighting against Stella Nova, who are the aggressors, and we and our allies in Bloodline are defending against them and pushing back ourselves. There's been a couple Sov trades this week. A couple ships went down. Had a fleet just before this show went live, and yeah, all positives.
Yeah, I'd say relatively, there's been a lot of action going on this weekend in your neck of the woods, down south in my neck of the woods. I think pretty much all over. There's a ramp up to spring wars, I think.
Yeah, there seems like there's some big groups deployed to Curse and the Catch area, with Brave just showing up, and Test and CO2 getting their roots in. Like, it's a good time to go hunting, probably, so it seems like open season.
Yeah. Actually, this weekend myself, I was a part of several fleets, and if you look at my kill board, Murdud, I boosted the numbers a little bit. I got a few kills over the weekend, so I'm learning some things. But yeah, we had CO2 rolling through there. Let's see, we got a Goon hot dropper that's been sitting in our home system for days, but I just ignore him. I keep ratting anyway, so maybe I'll end up regretting that soon. But oh well. But yeah, I had some fun this weekend on Eve once my internet finally came back up.
Yeah, speaking of internet coming back up, I'm glad that the Discord fire got put out
Ooh,
just previous
yeah.
to our show.
Yeah, so I logged into the computer and I saw no servers available. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, nothing to get you panicked like not having your chat service up 2 hours before show.
Don't say panic.
It's all good. It's all good. Mike's not on the show, so.
Yeah. So so let's roll right into some news if you don't mind. Let's see, what do we got? What happened this week? Monday or Tuesday, right? Right after day after our show, patch 119.3 went live on TQ, which included the scanning changes. What'd you think of that?
I was okay with it once I got a feel for it. I'm typical to not try these things out on CC and then just fumble through it the first day on TQ, and some of the things were strange to get used to at first, and there was a lot of complaints from my corp mates, but
yes,
I feel like I got a feel for it eventually.
Anybody else have some issues with the scanning window when that popped up for the first time?
I have this tendency of anything that I use regularly and CCP changes it in an update or release, I
Yeah.
don't use it for 10 days.
10.
Oh, wow.
That's a
Give
good
them
rule.
time to fix the bugs, fix the glitches, and we are now going to ignore this release time period. 10 days. And it's
So
as good as it's going to get.
Does it always take 10 days? Is that
10 days is when they stop paying attention to the bug reports.
right? Oh, okay.
Well, as someone who, I mean, I scan a lot. I opened it up straight away. I was really pleased with it. The only bug or issue I can see with it is the when you initially find a signature and that kind of red orb, which is just showing you that there's something there. That's incredibly faint, particularly when I'm playing my laptop. But other than that, I mean, I'm loving the double click to switch between the two planes. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I found that playing it on my bigger screens, the 27-inch screens, it's a lot easier, especially if I have it across both screens. But on the laptop, 15-inch screen, I didn't like that popping up, and I was like, okay, let's move this.
Yeah, it
The other
was eating up a
interesting-
lot of
oh,
screen
sorry.
real estate. It was really annoying at first, but it's better now. They did squish that bug within a day or two.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, you haven't logged in yet, as soon as you log in, you undock, it pops up with the map on the right-hand side of the screen, and then your regular scanning window on the left-hand side of the screen. So you got to click a little icon there that says undock. You got to undock the map from the other stuff.
Yeah, it was a little disconcerting when it first happened.
I was like, what the F is this?
Well, it kept popping up for me every time I warped somewhere. That was weird.
Yeah, there's some quirks to it. I didn't like the noises that it kept making as I'm moving probes around.
I don't know if anyone's noticed, but there's this little thing that Dscan does now, which I presume is new. Maybe it's not, and it's always been there and I've never noticed. But when a ship appears for the first time and you have the solar system map open, a little wireframe of the hull just pings up for just a moment. It's really cool.
Oh, that's so cool. Never noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either. I have to look for that.
Yeah, so cool. So the other thing that came about last week was the mobile warp, the disruption bubbles. Those are now they've always been destroyable, but now you can get kill mails generated for them. And within the first day, they had 7,853 warp bubbles destroyed, according to CCP Fozzy. Very interesting.
Yeah, now we have a reason to annoy the Russians.
Right.
I definitely went hunting for them, and all the places I went to go typically look were all cleared.
Turds. But yeah, so right after that update, I think it was the same day after that update, CCP Seagull did a little video dev blog announcing some changes to Plex and Aurum are going to be one and the same and not at all.
Yeah, we showed the video beforehand there of CCP Seagull talking about it, but they're going to reduce Aurum into Plex and then expand Plex to be granular by making it 500 Plex for what one Plex is worth now.
Yeah, so I think some of the details are still kind of vague as far as that. Like, I don't know. I know, Rixx, you talked about it on Talking in Stations on Saturday? Or Open Comms?
Open comms on Friday night. Yeah,
Okay.
and then the other podcasts that were on over this week, which I'm totally derping on right now. Which ones they were?
Talking in Stations on Saturday?
Might have been, yeah. But no, it's okay. But I'm a huge fan of getting rid of the other currency. I think Eve should have one currency. Aurum has always been a little disconcerting and weird. And sort of left over from when we were going to be walking around in stations, I think, pretty much when that first popped up. They seem to always have a little bit of problems with what to do after GTCs and game time cards and all that other stuff. And then to split it up has always kind of been stupid, in my opinion. But I'm all for getting rid of it. I think most people are. I think the problem is everyone sort of thinks that this idea that they're not going to be compensating us back for the 399 Aurum that we've been holding on to for so long is kind of disingenuous on their part. But honestly,
you are going to be compensated. So if you have those Aurum still sitting there, they will compensate you back up to 1,000 of them. So if you have 1,500, you might want to spend that 500 quickly. Go get a skin that you've been looking at or something.
No. The minimum threshold is 1,000. So if you
Oh, the
have
minimum.
2,000, they will all get converted. If you have
Okay.
And anybody
950, you won't.
And anybody
Yeah.
with 999 and less gets robbed.
Oh boy. So, well, shit.
This is normally what happens when it's called a haircut when the depositor takes a bath like this. This would be normal economics. Hello, Cyprus.
Well, if
Yeah.
my bank did that to me, I would be rather irate.
Right?
Yeah, but they get to give you bank stock in return normally. So
But we're not getting anything in return for the 999 and under. And I
Get
paid
in.
for some of my Aurum. It
Get
wasn't
in
all
the
gifts.
shaft. Yeah, kind of sucks. So I don't know. Hopefully, enough people complain about it, and we'll be able to get back what they put into, because that does suck. If you put money into it and you're getting zero in return, that stinks.
That's
So,
theft.
anyways, yeah. So I mean, it's part of the IS-Sync, I think. Just like insurance and all those other things that we pay money for that really go back to nothing.
According to Rise on Talking in Stations, he said there's a ridiculous amount of Aurum left out in the universe due to
I've
free
got
gifts
some.
and stuff. So it's quite possible that there's too much out there if it would disrupt the Plex economy over a short term.
Speaking of disrupting the Plex economy, there was a bit of chatter on Reddit, that thing that I don't like, regarding whether or not certain CSM people may or may not have leaked that information prior to the announcement, and their buddies went out and swooped up a bunch of Plex to sell in hopes of crashing the market after the changes happen.
I wouldn't put it past.
Yeah, I can say that I wouldn't doubt it, first of all, but I did listen to Lockfox go on about 35 minutes, and I didn't listen to any of it, but the last minute he said that it was probably unlikely that happened, because from what he had seen over the last 3 or 4 months, this spike or drop in Plex prices was sort of predictable. So he didn't think it was outside the normal, if that makes any sense.
Okay, that's good.
yeah, none of the prices tracked outside a normal range. It was between 900 million and 1.2 billion. It was pretty mundane.
Yeah, so I mean, we won't do much on that. I know it's kind of been discussed at length a little bit, but let's see. So there's the Plex thing, possible scandal, might have been averted, might not be true. Fun thing I found interesting. So we know I complained a little bit last week about Reddit, and we've talked before about how Reddit kind of gets used as a spurge place, but now CCP is specifically going out in Twitter and on Facebook whenever somebody leaves a message or comments on a dev post or whatever that might be negative in nature, a response of, "Hi, you can post your questions or feedback to the comments thread associated with a dev blog." That is now auto-commented on pretty much everything that anybody writes on the Eve Facebook official page. So I guess they're trying to push people into using the Evo forums as an official tool. Surprise, surprise.
I have a question about that then. If the Evo forum boards are going to be the tool for interaction with devs and such, why in the world do I have to go to Reddit to get some of the information from devs about changes? And that's the only place it shows up until it happens.
That is an excellent question, which is one of the questions that I asked months and months ago when I was trying to figure out how one would get a hold of CCP Ghost, and apparently the only way to get a hold of them would have been through Reddit. So I don't understand that. Doesn't make sense. So hopefully they're going to get with the program and start using their own internal forums as a method of communications.
I think part of it that Reddit is trendy, gets a lot of exposure, and so some
Yeah.
people just gravitated toward it. It's just social.
Yeah, but it just
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say it blew my mind that like when I try to find out how to get a hold of this CCP developer, the only way was through Reddit. Like that kind of strikes me as odd.
It seems like a lot of the devs have sort of adopted a certain social media, because there's some devs that you can get on Twitter pretty easily, and there's other devs that hang out in Slack channels, and then others that sort of ghost around on Reddit, and then so it seems like it depends on the dev. They kind of hang out in their own little. They have their own little universe that they hang out with.
So does that mean I have to have memberships to like 8 different social forums to get a hold of devs?
Well, yeah, you gotta have Reddit, Twitter, Slack for Tweet Fleet. You definitely gotta be on at a minimum 7 different Discords, and what am I missing?
If only
IRC chat?
What's that now?
The IRC chat?
Oh yeah, you gotta have IRC somehow.
If only there was one centralized place where we could all talk in the same area, like the forums.
Wah, wah, wah.
People have been hating on the new forums ever since they said, no, you can't have signatures and stuff. Like, no pictures, no videos, no embedding anything.
Well, didn't I hear a rumor that they were thinking about bringing signatures back to the Evo forums?
So,
until they squished it, but yes.
A few weeks back, during that leak of the updates.evoonline.com page, there was mention that they were going to be implementing a new forum version soon. TM.
I know as a person who has himself out on multiple different venues, Twitter, Discord, in-game chats, in-game forums, for just my corporation activities, it's tough to follow all those streams of information. And if you're CCP and trying to take feedback, if you're taking it from 1,000 granular sources, it's going to be tough to integrate that into one forum thread or one internal hip chat conversation. I don't envy their task.
No, not at all. Definitely, they have a hard work.
But they're the ones who complicated their own interactions. They're the ones who answer on Reddit and Slack and Discord and everywhere else. They made their own problem.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It just means they need a policy in regards to social media at the company. Like, what are you going to use for what? Like, Twitter's great for casual and announcements and things like that.
Well, I mean,
just
I don't think that they necessarily need a policy, because people are going to use what they're most comfortable with. But I mean, internally, CCP could have a policy like, hey, development stuff needs to happen on official channels. If you're going to have sidebars, sure, feel free to have a sidebar, in this chat room or that place or that Discord server or whatever. But official stuff needs to officially happen on the official damn website.
And they're free to copy it over to Reddit as they want to, but yeah, they should be handling all that internally.
Yeah.
And that may happen with the new forums. Who knows what they might have back-end problems where Reddit actually works better for them at the moment.
Yeah, and hopefully they take a little bit of a cue from Star Citizen. Their internal chat system and forums and the way they communicate between their corporations and everything is flawless. So I think hopefully they take a little bit of a cue from that.
Yeah, it's hard to say though. Like, what do you call an official piece of information? Like something that's devlog worthy and deep and complicated, but is something like CCP Carker posted that image of the changes to the fighters having colors on their damage bars. That was just a Twitter post of an image with no details. It says a lot because it's a picture, but
I think they've made their own social networking lives very complicated for their business.
Yeah.
But don't you enjoy that as a player, that you can reach out in your preferred communication location and get some feedback?
Yes.
Yes and no. But I mean, I know where to look. How do I explain this to an alpha? Okay, you're going to need memberships to all of this stuff. Have at it.
Yeah, and when you are like used to doing a certain system, but like if you are told like, oh well, you have to get on Reddit to find this, like, well, I don't want to use Reddit. Can I just get it from this other source, which is more easily? So it gets all convoluted and mixed up and too complicated,
Yeah,
I mean, stuff is communicated on their website, though, right? And the updates, the EVE Online updates page. I mean, a lot of the stuff that goes out to social media is ifs and buts, and maybe we'll do this, and we're thinking about doing this, and this might be coming up. But anything important is on that main website. I mean, am I wrong?
Oh, you're right. If you can find it. I have never seen such a micromanaged series of web pages.
I know there was discussion of improving the EVE updates and the EVE website into one website. I think they have like 6 websites or something.
Yeah, because you've got EveGate as well, and I think that was meant to be more of a mobile access kind of point.
And I do agree with Dirk in chat that alphas perhaps don't need membership to every discussion of topic.
Well, yeah, no, that would just get too crazy.
I'm not sure if anyone saw the guy on Twitter today who was posting on CSM campaign threads about his gripes about HiSec and ganking, and it was his first post on the EVE forums.
I did not see that. I'll have to go check that out. Hopefully he votes for me.
Imagine very angry HiSec guy doesn't want to interact with people.
That sounds like one of your voters.
Yeah, right. According to the help channels in Reddit, I have no voters because I'm a shitlord.
Well, you got my vote somewhere down my list.
Oh, thanks. Anywho, yeah, so that about wraps that up with the news, with the exception of the God damn it, we're gonna get this right someday. Kianoki outbreak. Is there any updates on that, Murdod?
Yeah, there was a world news today, but I didn't get a chance to read it. I think it has something to do with the state and the Federation getting angry at each other.
Oh boy. Well, hopefully that unravels a little bit, and maybe we'll be good podcast hosters and learn ourselves up on that for next week.
Blame Turgid.
Anywho, let's real quickly go through battle reports if we must. Apparently, like I said earlier, with the Spring Wars, an announcement from Tiberius Stargazer that NC. Spring campaign is on the way, and they are in the middle of deployment to do their thing. And then, were we able to pull Trigid in just for a moment to give his little war report, or no?
I didn't prep him. No.
Jesus. Anyways, I'll just go ahead and read what he said. So Stella Nova has broken NIP. What is that?
Non-invasion pact.
Yeah, whatever that is, with Iron, Armada, and Bloodline, and began assaulting. On their flash of attack, they took a handful of moons from Iron Armada, but they had to batphone PL to do it. RIP Dreadwave. And then a bunch of other stuff, but apparently there's some stuff going on with Stella Nova. Do we want to talk about that?
Oh, no, I'll keep you updated as the good shit happens, but pretty much we're in a war. Stuff's happening.
Yay, war. Okay. You want to get right down into it?
Yeah.
All right. So, as we discussed, this is Arts and Crafts Corner, and this is the spotlight of this episode, which is talking about visual media and other things in the EVE Online community. So, with us, we have a few video creators. Who wants to talk first? Reload.
Sure, I can go ahead first.
So what you do? Did you start doing streaming when the alpha stuff started happening, or did you kind of do that beforehand, or what?
No, I used to do that way back when. I actually started a blog at first, trying to explain the game to people, and as part of that, I tried to branch out to YouTube, and then that kind of took over. And from then on, I was trying to make videos for newbies of EVE Online, not just alpha clones, but now that the alpha clones are here, it's even better for my content. It just exploded recently, and I really appreciate EVE Online for actually letting people play as the alpha clones.
Yeah, I think probably the coolest aspect of Twitch and YouTube with the EVE Online and the alpha thing was that it players like, even with Chocolate Rain, when she first started, what she did is she started streaming her stuff, and people would go in there and talk to her while she was streaming and playing and tell her, oh, try this, try that, and it kind of was a helpful tool.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's very difficult to explain EVE Online. That's part of the problem with my blog was at first that I was trying to make a lot of screenshots and describe in detail what I'm doing, but it's so much easier once you actually see a person doing whatever it is you want to do in game.
Yeah. So do you prefer doing live stuff or recording stuff?
I like doing both. There's pros and cons for each sort of a media that you want to do. When it comes to scripted videos, I think I can be way more in depth and present a lot more information in a more coherent and meaningful way. But at the same time, when I live stream, I actually get to talk to people live, so they can ask me questions, I can reply back, and the feedback is very instant. So these are just two different media that can be used to help people learn the game.
Your videos have tons of views. Do you get feedback on what the strength of your videos are, or maybe perhaps what the weaknesses are?
A little bit here and there, yes. Of course, you get your troll comments here and
Ignore
or
those
this fit
people.
sucks, stuff like that. A lot of people that have played EVE Online for a while, they come and watch my videos. They don't realize that what I'm trying to portray here is the cheapest possible fit for a new person to use. I'm not usually going for the most elite kind of a blingy fit. Of course, I could go for that avenue as well, but for now, I want to just kind of try to make videos more towards people that are just starting out in game. As far as the viewership goes, it really depends. For some reason, my mining videos are actually very, very. I get very good feedback on them, even though I didn't think people are really that interested in mining, to be honest.
But from a video capture and a video content creator, do you find that there's anything that you've learned over your time making videos that someone like myself could learn from you?
Oh, you mean like in terms of whatever I find in game?
Yes, the crafting corner. Crafting.
Well, definitely, as you actually try to make a video, you get to learn a few more things about the game itself that you may not have realized. And as people ask you more and more questions of how to do each particular or specific task within the game, then you kind of think back and think, oh, wait a minute, I have actually never done this before. Let me check it out and see what it's like.
So how do you record your videos? What do you find is the best tool for recording your in-game video?
Personally, I use Shadowplay. It's NVIDIA Shadowplay. It comes with every NVIDIA video card that if people have that. I mean, it's not. I understand that a lot of people have AMD video cards as well, but for me, that is the easiest tool to use. I started off using Fraps, but it's compared to Shadowplay, it's not the greatest in my opinion. But this is how I basically record the footage for the video, and then I start to edit it and overlay my sound using Audacity.
And then do you do your video editing in Audacity as well?
For video editing, currently I'm using a free program called DaVinci Resolve. It's actually a Hollywood-grade color grading software, but that is actually completely free, which is amazing at this point in time. I'm not sure how long it's going to be free for. Before that, I used to use DaVinci Resolve. You guys can check it out. It's pretty good, especially for a free program.
I'd second that. It's really excellent.
Yeah, for sure. I tried a lot of different software, especially starting out. I mean, I started out with the Windows Movie Maker. It works. It's not the best, but it works if somebody's interested in trying to start up doing videos for EVE Online.
Nice. And then once you've got it all edited and you got your sound overlaid, how are you posting it? Like, are you just uploading it straight to YouTube? Do you have to convert it into different files?
No, in a way, a lot of the software that you can find right now, whether it's Resolve or if you want to use any other software, they actually have a very easy import to YouTube feature. Usually it encodes the video in a way that YouTube can take the format, no problem. And yeah, it's simply upload to YouTube. Of course, once it's on YouTube, it's a whole other ballgame in terms of making proper tags, making proper description, a lot of things like metadata behind the video that has to go in there to make sure that your video actually shows up in search.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype for OBS in chat. We use OBS to get our stream out on a weekly basis. Is that how you record your live video?
Oh, for sure. When it comes to live streams, OBS is the best program to use. I tried trial versions of a lot of premium software. I don't remember the exact name. I'm sure if anybody's tried to stream, they will find
XSplit.
Yes, that's the one. But really, OBS does everything better, and it's free, and it comes with a lot of content created by the open source community, and really can't go wrong with OBS.
Yeah, I've actually the first few episodes that we did this where we stream live, I was using XSplit. But yeah, I think OBS is a much better platform, and like I said, it's free.
Oh yeah, and like I said, whatever you want to do within OBS, you can just search the website, and somebody has already done a tool for it. So it's really easy in that regard.
Yeah.
So as we move down the length of videos, Colin, you make shorter GIFs and shorter videos, but on a whole different level than Eve in-game content.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just really those little animations. I mean, that was actually initially I was just putting up some still images, and I just thought for the hell of it I'd make a GIF, and seemed to go down quite well, and it just got snowballed from there. I mean, motion graphics is a bit of a hobby of mine. I'm an editor by trade, and that's, I think a lot of the time now you are kind of expected to be able to do, you know, at least simple motion graphics as part of your work, and that's what, you know, that's where that interest grew for me. I don't really get to, you know, make spaceships fly around at work every day though, so that's kind of, for me, the gifts are an opportunity to kind of, you know, just totally indulge my love of spaceships and blueprints and wireframes and things like that. I mean, I don't have any particular strategy for how I'm getting it out there. I generally just shove it up on Twitter and see what happens, and occasionally on Reddit.
So like your current last one that I just saw on Twitter today was a typhoon going through a Stargate, going through a wormhole, popping out of another Stargate. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, well, that was, I actually at the weekend I posted a GIF of an Astero going to warp, and like some people tweeted me back, like, you know, nobody was being mean or anything like that, but pointing out that that's not how warp works in Eve. Like that's like the Star Trek model. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen the images of, you know, like the idea is that you can press space in front of you and expand it behind you and kind of ride a wave. And then the space pope himself, Max Singularity, tweeted at me, and I believe he works for NASA, so I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. And you know, so I thought, right, okay, I'll do a different one. So that's like a wormhole model rather than a space wave model. I think it's all made up, but yeah.
Never. But so imagine I don't know anything about computer animating. Is there any way that somebody like me could get into what you're making?
Well, yeah. I mean, in terms of 3D stuff, Blender is you know, really amazing, completely free, open source tool. Some people do, you know, unbelievably incredible things with Blender. I think that, I mean, there's a lot of different tools I use. Unfortunately, they're all paid tools. I think, I mean, Blender would be a great place to start, basically. Go and look up that. And there's a site called Blender Guru, which has a lot of tutorials on how to get started with that.
Well, that's great, because you make really cool stuff, and I haven't seen anything like it as far as in the community goes.
What is the wait list for getting one of those sweet billboard ads done by you?
Oh man, this, like I'm kind of stuttering here because I'm actually trying to take a break from doing them, and this is like one. I think something about doing content like this, and I don't know if anyone else feels like this. If you're making, you know, extra content for EVE Online, I think you have to make sure that you're still having fun making it. That it's not, it doesn't feel like work, you know. I know you guys all know all about that with the podcast. And so I'm kind of trying to find that balance at the moment. So I will definitely put you guys on the list, but it may be a while. Just trying to step back and, you know, do some of my own stuff again for a while.
Right on. Yeah, I totally feel you on that. I feel sometimes like I'm getting a burnout from all this, but you know, here I am, loving it. All right, let's see, what do we got? Anybody else does videos? I don't think so. So up next is photos or photographs, artwork. Correct? Am I right?
Yeah, we're
Yep.
moving down the pixel rate.
All right. So real quick before we get into some of these guys that want to talk, I did want to mention Caroline Grace. I reached out to her, but she wanted to remain like relatively anonymous as far as like having her voice out there, and she just wants to do artwork and all that. But if you haven't checked out Caroline Grace's work, she was actually the individual who first took a screenshot of what we now refer to as Caroline's Star during the whole drifter thing when that first started, and all the screenshots that happened where you can see the star in its various its progression.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I definitely wanted to shout out to her. I wish she could have been on the show, but like I said, she wanted to remain anonymous. But shout out to you, Carolyn, and keep taking those awesome screenshots.
Another person who takes awesome screenshots is Justin. You've taken a whole bunch of screenshots. Just some of them have made it onto my desk, and I personally really love them. They've become our background for our overlay here on the live stream. And what got you into taking and modifying screenshots?
I was at my public library, and they had just installed a bunch of new equipment from like 3D printers, laser cutters, CAD lathes, and things like that in their co-laboratory. And I had met a couple guys who were doing a photo competition there. They were doing some editing. They showed me some software, and I had decided to go out I live in New England, so I decided to go out in the fall and take some shots from around the area at some parks. And some people said I had a good eye for it, and then I just started kind of doing the screenshots in Eve, and then using that software to enhance the natural beauty that we all see every day.
So we have a photo pack that Kale has just got hiding somewhere that we'll link. And
well, yep, I'll link that just a second.
So you can link them the Eve Files one, or I don't care. You can link them the Google one too. It doesn't matter.
And I definitely picked it off Reddit that you were posting them on there, or Twitter. I'm not sure.
Twitter. I was posting them on Twitter. It was just convenient. A lot of times it was sort of like a good night salutation, kind of going to bed. Post a few things I'd worked on, and then have a little postcard from our home wormhole rage.
Do you find you get much pickup from your photo and your work besides fanboys like me? Like, is CCP reaching out for any of your artwork to be used on?
I've had a few of them just comment that they like the photos. I've had some discussions in terms of what some of these like post effects could actually do with the in-game engine, but it would actually require them to sort of re-architect the whole thing. And I discussed with CCP Pointy Bits. I realized I'd have to go and learn how to program a game engine, then go work at CCP to get any of what I wanted done. If you wanted a Cloaky Hunter, you could actually have sort of a post effect, on some ships where you'd have like a high dynamic range effect of some kind. You'd actually be able to see Cloakies like on grid.
Or perhaps the other way, if you were cloaked, you would have a different effect on the world around you.
Right. There would be sort of changes like that.
I'm sure as a wormholer, you would love to see different effects to all of the different singularities within wormholes.
I mean, as far as that, I don't know. It would be kind of neat, if there was a more environmental effect, kind of like what happens with an incursion, where you get that, just that yellow tint everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
But it might get tiresome for some people living in wormholes like that if you had abnormal lighting just because you had a special effect. So I think leaving it for special applications is better than an all the time effect.
I definitely know there's an appreciation for that, the look of a wormhole. That I'm sure I've seen pictures and graphs of how to tell which wormhole you're jumping into just from the look of the wormhole.
Absolutely, there used to be a color chart out there for like Tiger Eye or something like that. I don't know if it got updated with the changes. I think there is an updated chart, at least on Eve Uni's wiki. It's very helpful.
Yeah, I lived in a wormhole for about 8 months, and I never figured that out.
What I figured out, because I use a Potato Graphics laptop, is that what you see in the wormhole is accurate, but doesn't use the newest shader model. So my laptop's only running like shader model 3, so like C6 base looks like cobalt blue to me, which is beautiful. But you still see the wormhole as the color it's supposed to be with shader model 5.
So I'll float this to both Reload and Justin. Do you guys find that there are gaps in the tools that CCP has available to us for capturing in-game content, whether it's camera models or camera angles?
Without them giving us like their full kind of Jessica tool set, it'd be very difficult for them to give us anything more.
Well, yeah, personally, I mean, I know a few filmmakers from EVE Online that moved on recently because the camera got really nerfed with the latest updates. So yes, there's definitely gaps missing, and if we could have some more control over how we can film the game, then we could have a lot more cinematic effect to our videos for sure.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to have tools from CCP where you could make cool content videos?
Frankly, I just like them to give out those high definition textures that they talked about a couple of years ago that they've said are ready to go. They're just waiting on like a distribution method. I don't know why like they couldn't just do it on BitTorrent, but whatever.
Yeah, likewise, there was some talk a few years ago about releasing some sort of assets from the developers towards the community to help making the videos, but that never came to fruition. And of course, tools will be useful. This time, personally, I think I got my own tool set that helps me in the kind of videos that I personally make. But other video makers out there will probably be searching for the same thing that I have right now. So it will be really helpful if the developers actually present us with the tools.
And for capture, I only use ShareX, and it works perfectly fine. Other than that, it's just working in, in my case, it's working in Photoshop. The same plugins I use in Photoshop will work in GIMP, but like anything for Linux, you've got to take the stuff and basically rebuild it specifically for that application.
I should say actually that reaching out to the community and looking for assets for the game has actually led to me meeting a lot of people. It's actually part of the fun for me is kind of hunting down, ship models and ship textures and these kind of things, and finding out how to reverse engineer it from the client. So kind of, to play devil's advocate a bit, if there was just a big dump of material from CCP, it actually wouldn't have been as fun for me personally.
Yeah, I had to unpack a bunch of stuff, ship model material, so a friend could do a 3D render, because he just didn't want to go through the process of unpacking all the tech-free stuff.
Yeah, I know there's probably a desire from lots of groups to get better video tools, but as Void Scribbler says in chat there's probably just too few of us to make it really worth a good amount of dev hours. We can just kind of get by with what we have.
Oh yeah, I can totally understand that. It's all about the cost to benefit ratio, right? As a community, definitely it's good to have the tools, but at the same time, like personally said, by now I have my own tool set that I can use to make videos. It's just for newer filmmakers that will come into the fold as alpha clones, maybe omega clones, right?
Anybody can pick up the camera and start recording, right?
Yeah, for sure.
As we've seen on YouTube, literally anybody can stream anything.
I don't know. Don't put it past my ability to screw up software. Okay.
Well, what did I just do? I don't know what happened. I'm showing pictures of my butthole now.
It's not a bug; it's a feature.
Right?
I would be the one that would try to fix something and go, oops, I deleted the internet.
You literally just broke the entire internet.
So was that your fault with the Discord then?
Right?
I plead the fifth.
Damn it.
Well, CCP almost went there that one time with boot.ini being deleted, but
yeah.
So as we move from captures of game and captures of video, we move down to creating an image. Rixx, you are the creator of images, it seems.
The creator.
whether it's an animated cartoon or a logo for a show, you seem to be the man to go to.
Well, my thing's always been, I really appreciate everybody who's just talked. These guys are all people I admire, and I follow their work too. But for me personally, I do a lot of that kind of stuff in my day job, and have during my career. But for me, it's always been about taking my interest in Eve, which I just think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I'm kind of stuck with it. So, and turning it into something that trying to find ways to do something with it that hasn't been done before, so that nobody's ever seen before. So that's always been my thing. Is that a lot of times just have a lot of fun with it, like with the stupid the pods dancing for that video, or doing animated videos, or just having fun and keeping myself entertained. But for the art side, though, I started out. I didn't even realize when I started playing Eve that that the art side was actually going on, and I was down in Nullsec at the time, and we were up against some of the other alliances were using propaganda against us. So I just started doing some propaganda work for our alliance, which was a pretty pathetic Renner alliance for CVA, but because that was right when I just first started playing Eve, and the propaganda that I was doing was really taking off, and everybody was really liking it on the forums. And this was before I even started writing my blog, and I can still remember one of the pieces I got contacted from somebody from Eon magazine. If you guys, I don't know if some of you are old enough to remember Eon. So I got
Online magazine.
Yeah, I got contacted, and they wanted to reproduce the ad on the back cover of the magazine. So I thought that was pretty cool. And so that's actually when I started thinking, maybe I should have a blog where I write about my adventures and share my art. And then people would say, like, they saw the ad in Eon, and they'd be like, well, Rick, would you like doing an Alliance logo, or an ad for us, or a wallpaper, or a banner for a blog, or whatever? And then it's like, well, you can't charge money for this sort of thing, so why don't you just pay me in Iskies? And then that was awesome, because I can't stand doing anything other than PvP. So for the last almost 7 years now, everything that I've done in Eve's been paid for by art, which is pretty awesome. So I haven't had to rat or mine or do anything like that for 7 years now. So that's pretty cool. The doing video ads, I was listening to Corrin talk about, sometimes you get so wrapped up in so many things. I just took a break too, and I had 75 projects on my list, and I told everybody to go find somebody else to do it, because that was too much. I couldn't do it anymore. I think before the Alliance tournament, I did 14 or 15, I can't remember, but it was like Alliance tournament videos, and it was just really starting to get crazy. And so yeah, sometimes it just takes too much time and effort to do all that. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I that's hardcore, man. I was giving up with a lot less on my list than 75 projects.
Oh, it's crazy. And because I can't say no to anybody. Like right now, I know I shouldn't do it, but if one of you said, "Can you help me with something?" I would say yes, and then I would get in a lot of trouble for that, because I wouldn't be able to find time. So, like, anytime anybody asks me for something on Slack or Twitter or wherever, then I can't. I have a really hard time saying no to it. So that's why I get in trouble a lot of times, because I try to bite off more than I can chew. But especially now, I went through a period of time there, for a short period of time last year, where sadly I had two businesses that were running, and my business partner was diagnosed with cancer. So and after that, it sort of we sort of toned the business down so that it was at a level which he could take on. And then so for about 6 months there wasn't a lot of work going on, so I had a lot of free time, so I was able to get a lot of that done but now I'm back to working full time again. So that's kind of so now I only have evenings and weekends.
So as far as artwork, you pretty much do, you do the graphics for the computer, you do print art, you do the animations like you did the Sindel Pelion music video. What else do you do?
That's about it, really. I mean, what I started, I had a project a few years back that, and I had done this before, but I had a project a few years ago where I was doing a mural, and I decided to try something I hadn't tried in a really long time. I used to do back in and I actually posted one of these on Twitter today. It was one of the first ones I ever did of a spaceship. It was in 1993, which is probably like Illustrator 2 or something. And I did a vector art drawing of a spaceship. So I hadn't done that in a long time. And I thought, well, if I do it in vector art, then I can blow it up as big as I want and it won't lose any of the quality. And so I thought, hey, I wonder if I could do Eve's online spaceships like that. So I started playing around with my Wacom tablet, and it took, I don't know, weeks of just goofing off and trying different things before I could get anything that looked even like a spaceship. And the Ferox was the first ship that I had done, because so I always liked the Ferox model. So, and it worked. I finally got it figured out, and it came down to a science. So I started just doing a ton of those. And the cool thing for me was taking the Eve art that everybody knows, like the ship models, and then taking them out of space and putting them into a design, and started doing them. They got a lot of attention. They got picked up by a couple of design magazines, and so online, like, snobby places that like graphic design. And that's when CCP started paying attention. When I think it was because Torfy was like, hey, Torfy does not talk like this at all, but it's kind of, I always find he's like got a little snifter glass and a monocle. And he's like, hey, Rixx is finally getting some attention, eh? So that's kind of where that came from. But nice. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And it helped me to define a kind of a technique that I don't even really do that much anymore. I've moved on. I would like to start, I'm hoping that I have a whole thing behind me here of paints and papers and things like that and brushes. I'd like to start trying to get back into doing actual painting again. It's been a few years since I've done that. So, I mean, that's kind of what I do, is like I think of an idea that it's like challenging to me. One day somebody said to me, boy, I wonder what spaceships would look like in real life, right? So then I was like, oh, I wonder what they would look like on different planets. And I know they can't go on to planets because of the trip blows up and all that. It's funny how literal the Eve community can be. When you do art, I did this cool series of spaceships on planets, and a lot of the criticisms I got was, well, you can't do an Eve spaceship on a planet. They would blow up because the trit explodes into the atmosphere. I'm like, wow, yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, it's not literal, it's just art, so it looks pretty. That's all I care about. But so I just challenged myself like that. How realistic can I make an Eve spaceship look? And since I really suck at 3D modeling, I'm stuck with doing it the old-fashioned way. So I just I think of some idea and I try it, see what happens.
Yes, I tell you what, and my wife has actually completely agreed with me. If you ever do like some sort of oil painting, I would definitely have a Rixx Javix original oil painting, sitting up on my wall. I definitely would.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I would love to do it. I have it in my mind right now. I've had this image of a Daredevil painting that I want to do, and I'm going to, after FanFest, hopefully I've got all my projects wrapped up. I just finished a commission today for Kigali, and then I have 2 commissions to do for somebody, which is basically a Varger over a beach, and I've got to finish that one. I'm hoping to get it done before FanFest, so that when I get back from FanFest, that I'll have a clean palette, and that I can maybe sit down and start painting some. It'll be kind of cool.
Nice. So, cool. Yes, I also want to mention really quick, not only is it you and your family, but your kids also have some artwork they sent to me in Afghanistan. I appreciate that.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Has some nice little cards hand drawn by the Javix family. It was really neat.
Yep. So
and the tea. I got some tea from you guys from Trader Joe's.
Tea from Trader Joe's tea. Yeah, yeah. It was a big event around the house here where we had to put that care package together for you. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, appreciate it.
Definitely the second nail in my divorce coffin is the your frigate artwork on my wall behind me.
Oh, really?
Is that?
It didn't have anything to do with your divorce, did it?
No. I'm still happily married, but it'll come up.
That's awesome. Yeah, no. So I mean, just so everybody knows, I sometimes I think I've been doing this for a long time, sadly, and I mean, for like Photoshop, I was a beta tester for Photoshop. I knew a bunch of the guys who actually built the program. I'm friends with a gentleman out east, lives outside of Philadelphia, who introduced me to them, and we were using Photoshop before it even came out. That's how long I knew. What's his name that did? I'm having a hard time remembering his name now, but he did a lot of programs back in the day for those guys. But so I've been doing that Photoshop since then. So it's gotten a little bit good at it, but and mostly for advertising and photo retouching and things like that. So, but taking people up. I don't really do the taking dogs out of pictures or anything. But anyway, I use almost exclusively. I use Adobe Creative Suite for most everything. Since I'm paying for it, I might as well use all the programs that they have. So I edit in Premiere. I do the special effects and After Effects and things like that. So and I use somebody said Audacity, but I use Audition for my audio editing, which I just love Audition. I think it's a cool tool. Yeah, Adobe CS, whatever it is now.
Yeah, if you can swing the subscription fee, it's a really good investment.
It is really worth it. I mean, it is expensive, but it's a business expense, so it's a write-off. So as long as I'm making money on it, I get to write it off in my taxes, which is really awesome.
And I think if you're a student, it's only about $20 a month.
Something like that. And you could buy individual programs, but I don't know that that's cheaper or not. But I just had the whole package, so I think it's like $45 a month or something. So it's not too bad.
It's not terrible. I used to pay more for internet.
Yeah. The great thing about it is it doesn't become obsolete. So, I mean, that is, used to be able to just buy Photoshop, but then, you end up with a bookshelf full of books and boxes because the darn things, go out of date. So it's kind of nice just to, whenever they come out with an update, you just update it. So.
Yeah, you guys definitely have an advantage coming from the professional side that you have these tools available to you.
Yeah, it used to be even better. I used to have my own business, and anything that I needed, or I could make not anything that I needed, but if it made business sense, like my computers and things like that, it was all bought by the company. So, that was kind of nice. I don't have that anymore. So, whenever my computer dies, that's kind of a problem. As anybody knows, I'm just a scammer, but
aren't we all?
Yeah. So it's triggered by talking about workhorse tabs. Yeah, I mean, so I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I don't really, spend a lot of time doing Eve art, but it's like being creative is not something that it's a job or whatever. It's a lifestyle. For me, anyway. I'm an artist all day, whether I'm writing or whether I'm doing art or whether I'm editing videos or talking on podcasts. It's not something I can turn off and on. So 24 hours a day while I'm awake, anyway, sometimes even while I'm sleeping, I'm thinking of ideas and being creative all the time. So, whether I'm at work or I'm home doing something on my computer, it's just what I do. So,
yeah. Definitely feel you there. I've definitely dreamt about Eve Online. It sucks.
It's kind of yeah. It's actually kind of sometimes it's good though. I wake up in the morning and I've got like, oh my god, I have to go write this down before I forget it. So Sometimes things will come up.
I literally almost choked on my beer. Fucking Cypher said in chat, Rixx Javix is the Scooter McCabe of low sec.
That's awesome.
Well, another guest that we asked to come tonight for their artwork prowess was Krymek, who's the artist of the test propaganda involving the tiny little test dino, and first got his feet under him during the World War B up north. He made some great propaganda. I think everyone's seen.
Yeah, it's been entertaining.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, by the way. It's awesome stuff.
He's another one of those shy people who don't want to get his voice out there, but shout outs to him.
And I guess, speaking of other cute little critters, we've got another guest who makes cute little critters.
I guess that's my turn, huh?
Why do 2D when you could do 3D?
Well, I am doing 3D. It's just physical 3D.
Exactly. So
It's real.
So tell us about your projects. You do small figures of... Well, I know there's at least one of Rixx.
No, those are the pod pals. That is not me. That
What?
is Sakani. I'm the one that makes the octopods and the murlocs and the other little creatures like that, and the squidlets.
I will definitely sign up for a couple more locks.
And we just added international shipping. Ha.
My 2-year-old daughter, she has a murloc, a pink murloc that she carries around with her. That's her baby.
So what got you into doing that?
Actually, I've been doing handicrafts for a very long time, and I was looking for something to do to keep from getting vapor locked by my cross-stitch projects, because they take so long to get done. And thanks to the magic of YouTube, I can finally get videos and tutorials for left-handed people, which has been the roadblock to crochet this whole time.
So you just flip the image?
Do you have any idea how hard life is to be a left-handed person in a right-handed world?
I do not.
It sucks. Every door you walk through is the wrong one.
Damn doors.
Open the doors.
Hold door. Anyway,
The
that
thing
digress.
was-
So you also do the, you said you do stitching, right? So you said you actually make a few Eve-related stitch things?
I'm working on building a pattern for an Eve-based cross-stitch. Now that I have finally found some software that I can't totally bugger up in 15 minutes of clicking.
Nice.
But originally it was to fill the space in between, to keep, it's kind of like writing. If you stop, you don't go back forever. If I stop on a project, I'm not going to be back for another 2 years. So the crochet was to fill the gap in between and still make stuff. And I have bad fidgets, and that keeps my hands busy.
Yeah, I totally understand that. But yeah, I really like your critters. I like that. And if you make either some ships or a Feto or anything Eve related, I'm sure we can get that sold immediately.
The Eve related is probably going to show up in cross stitch first, simply because that's where I'm most comfortable at of the two. I started the crochet last year. Cross stitch I was half my height that I am now.
Oh wow.
I draw, I paint, I write. I don't do a lot with computer graphics because the software problem. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're gonna break it. Anywho, yeah, so I love that stuff. And those of you who might have seen it in the chat, I shared some artwork that I just did myself. It's a Kale Decadence original artwork. I'll sell it for $1 million a piece.
Million-isk.
Oh yeah, $1 million a piece, definitely.
I give you 500,000.
That's doable.
Sounds like a deal.
Woohoo!
Is there any other art out of game interesting Eve content creators that you guys would recommend we check out?
Yeah, there was a guy who used to play. His screen name was the Killer 8. and he did like the Eve Online Red Moon Rising stuff, the Flash video, and it was pretty funny. I'll put it into sort of general chat here, and you can copy it over.
I think I
But-
remember those. Yeah.
But he had a whole bunch of them around this period, and one of them was about like you could just fly over. This is I think right before they nerfed warp core stabs. So because he was just flying around Losec in a Scorpion with 4 warp core stabs before it had any kind of penalties on them. He's just torping the crap out of people. It was amazing. But a lot of his rage had to do when CCP started locking all of his threads and people were donating him tons of ISK. That was great.
I'd like to give a shout out to Rizorian, who's another Eve photographer. His stuff's really great, and he's a fellow court mate as well. I'll just pop a link to his Flickr page in chat.
There are quite a cluster of talented people in Signal Cartel.
I think it kind of fits. I mean, because we're a bunch of peaceful hippies. Like, if you're going to be an artist in Eve, it does seem to make some kind of sense. I don't know.
I'm not going to argue with you at all. This makes perfect sense. Anybody else have any other recommendations?
How many can I mention? Because I had like a whole list here.
We'll give you 25.
25, all right. Well, definitely, if you've never seen Johnny Pugh's videos, you have to check him out for exploration. Johnny Pugh.
I'm just kidding.
You know Johnny Pugh, right?
Who's that guy?
New guy. Recently started doing YouTube videos. Gentleman Gamer does great videos for Evo Online. And as for the streamer side, I would say Manic Velocity does great shows. He makes awesome artistic content on the shows. And Harutat is a great mining streamer if you want to check him out. He's relatively new.
We need to reach out to Manic Velocity.
Oh yeah, I think we can get him on. Also, Rixx is mentioning in chat to join the pound, Jesus Christ, hashtag creative channel on the Tweet Fleet Slack. One of those other things that you could sign up for to talk about EVE Online.
You don't have to say the @ sign too.
I know, right? Whatever.
Yeah, it's when Tweetface Slack opened up. This was in 2015, early 2015. I started a creative channel right before FanFest that year, just to have a place for creatives to hang out and talk and stuff. Mostly, it tends to be Tiamber and CCP Pointy Bits talking about things that nobody understands about WebGL spaceships and renderings and things like that. But it's pretty cool. Everybody shares their art and talks and stuff like that. So it's kind of a chill channel. There's absolutely zero drama, and it's pretty cool. So anybody's more than welcome to come and hang out. So,
yep.
There's no drama in the chat, but there's drama when Tamba starts talking about physically based rendering, and I still don't understand it. But that's just me yelling off screen.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, those two guys can talk a lot about really a lot of things that nobody really knows what the heck they're saying. So, but it's very informative and educational at the same time.
Yeah, very, very. All right, so cool. We've talked a lot about all kinds of different artwork, whether it's physical or digital or visual or video, and even cute little critters. What else do you think we need to talk about with that, Merdot? I think that about sums her up.
I cannot remember the name of the one who does the 3D printing. It's been both Eve ships and D&D panels. What is his name? Come on, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
I don't know, but I actually have a 3D printer myself.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I've got a 3D printer that I've been trying to do a few different Eve ship models, but they don't always come out right. I think they're just too big and have too many nuances, and they always just kind of melt at like 75% and get all retarded. I mean, you don't say retarded, popsicle-like. But yeah, that's also a thing to be done, is some 3D printing of Eve ships. Lots of files available online for that.
I've got I actually poked one of the I think it was CCP Darwin about that they need to buy one of Siaki's electron beam welders so we can print it out of Inconel, which is like a corrosion resistant nickel super alloy.
Super. Yep, and for those of you in the chat, Rixx just linked the link for getting the Tweet Fleet Slack invite. Yeah, there's tons of channels in the Tweet Fleet Slack. I mean, lore. There's stuff for for everybody in there, whether it's creative, whether it's lore, whether it's wormholes or anything at all. Help is available there.
And Void Scribbler points out that it's Rowan87 on Reddit is the 3D model art guy.
Dope.
No, I'm really happy we could have all these talented artists out and talk about their work and showcase them as someone you should check out.
No, I think that's about it.
You want to do the fail? Do you have any fails this week?
I don't think that I necessarily have a fail. I know personally, within my alliance, somebody's losing work walls on a regular basis, so that's a fail. But I guess this weekend they were pinging out for some assistance, and I guess since this person didn't have a panic module installed, they decided, we're not going to come and help you. So, rip.
I don't know if that's failure or just bad playing.
I think it's a little of both.
A wild Matterall appears in our channel.
Wild Matterall has been appearing all over the place. Did you see that thread on Facebook, the Facebook EVE Online group, where he just said, "Hey, everybody, I'm Matterall," and then it was like a bajillion people were like, "Hey."
I killed a fail Regen Tengu, but I don't know what's wrong with it. I just know we killed it before he killed me and my Bifrost, so I don't know. We're gonna leave that one down. Let's just move to shutouts.
Let's do it. Let's see. So we'll start out in the recording room from the top and work our way to the bottom, starting with Corrin Mor. What have you got for shout-outs or last-minute pitches?
I want to give a shout out to everyone who's come along to the EVE Glasgow meetup, which is on Saturday, at a bar, which is an arcade bar, and it's called Super Barrio. Yay! But it's on Saturday. It's on EVE Meet. If anyone's listening from Glasgow, come along.
I actually give a shout out to all the Trigun guys. Keep up with the good work in your C2. Hopefully you all succeed.
Kelly, you're next.
And pay your rent. Don't forget to pay your rent, wormhole guys.
I thought me and you usually go last. Anyways, yeah, I guess I'll do a shout out since we're doing that. Damn. I've got nothing.
Go last.
I literally have nothing.
Confused why wormholers have to pay rent, but I'm going to skip over that. I'm going to give a shout out to all the people who showed up in chat. Really great turnout. Thanks for coming, everyone.
I guess it's me. Shout out to everyone who's been sticking with me during the latest drama in my life over on Twitter. It's like a stack of dominoes. You knock one over and about 14 more fall over with them. Thanks for staying with me. Bye.
Aside from all the YouTubers and streamers that I mentioned, I would like to give a shout out to everybody who's helping me out with the Viewers Fleet streams that are providing ships for other people. Thank you so much for helping all those alphas.
For sure.
Rixx?
Shout out to all the people in the creative Slack channel. I think since I brought them up, so I know I was just over there a second ago, and there's some new stuff being posted, which is pretty awesome. So shout out to them, and then shout out to all the idiots of no consequence and a band apart, and keep up the great work. And I haven't been able to practice for the EVE for our charlatans team, so hopefully they come through this weekend and keep us in the major leagues. So I won't be flying, sadly, because I haven't been making practices. So shout out to the charlatans for this weekend.
lock the primary F1, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks everyone for coming. If you are tuned in live, you know that this is recorded every Monday night or Tuesday if you're on the other side of the international date line for 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 0200 Eve time at twitch.tv/MindClashLive. If you are listening to this live and went, oh, this was a great 30-minute show, we have another hour before this. You can download that on any place that you can pick up podcasts. We're on the Crossing Zebras RSS feed or the CiphersEvePodcast.com feed or our own feed. You can find us on any podcatcher.
Yeah, definitely. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn. I'm pretty sure you can find us also on iHeartRadio now. I think we've had enough downloads that we qualify for that. But yeah, you can find us on all the things, any podcast app that you have, and be sure to leave us some sort of review. We have one review so far, so we know how well we're doing or not doing. But we'd love some reviews. And also, if you want to get invited to our Discord app, go ahead and send me a message on Twitter at KaleDecadence or just in-game KaleDecadence as well, because I'm no longer going to put the link out there for public use.
It's on the stream. So if you're
Damn
here,
it.
click the stream.
Yeah, if you're here, but I'm definitely not putting it on Reddit anymore.
You can
That was fun.
You can follow all these people on Twitter at their @ names, at KaleDecadence, at Merdud_Eve, at Paconin Hybrid, at ReloadGV, at ADFoods 6, at Rixx Javix, and at More Corrin.
Yeah, mine's really confusing because it's backwards.
Yep. So,
But it also serves as a rallying cry. More Corrin.
That's true. It does. I get that. Can I just pick up on something just like totally in closing? Is that people were talking a little bit about software and like saying of me or Rixx, like, oh well, you have this professional software and I wish I could do that kind of stuff. And obviously it's easy for me to say this because I have the software, but honestly, like, it doesn't matter. Just go out, make your art. Like, there's tons of free stuff out there. It really doesn't matter what software you're using. And people ask me all the time what software you're using. It really doesn't matter. Just pick up a pen and paper, make your art, whatever.
Yeah, plus, you know what? I mean, right now, a lot of this stuff, there's a lot of free internet-based software solutions now that you can do a little quick Google search or something and do just about anything that you could do anywhere else free.
Really good stuff as well, good software.
Really, really good open source, really good software with lots of plugins available and things. Some pretty amazing things are being done. So it takes a little bit more effort to find all of it, but there's some very specialized programs that do really amazing things out there.
cool.
Have you considered compiling a thread of these on the Evo forum?
No, but I just did. I think it's actually a good idea. So maybe.
Yeah, if you guys want to just mention that in our Discord chat, some of those tools, I'll make sure I link those in the notes when I post the show. All right, so from the million people in the chat and live joining us, we want to thank you for listening and watching, and we'll catch you next week on the Mind Clash podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. Cheers, guys. Thanks, guys. Everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Good night.
Take care.